Activision restores servers for retro Call of Duty games. Activision has restored the multiplayer servers for its Xbox 360 era Call of Duty games. Over 200,000 gamers played these decade-old COD titles over the past weekend, outnumbering the players for Halo Infinite and Battle 2042 combined, probably quite easily. By midweek, 5 of the top 10 best-selling games on the Xbox Store were 360 era Call of Duty games, with number 1 being 2012's Black Ops 2. It appears that Activision has neglected to enact fixes for long-known exploits that enable rampant hacking. Fixes for these bugs were available in multiple popular community-run servers that Activision had shut down back in May, as we reported on WAN Show. Which is kind of a freaking joke.
Our discussion question is, well, there's one thing, but there's also some other things. I mean, I think there's a lot to kind of break down here. One is, hey, you guys need to actually not shut down older gaming experiences. 2, you don't get to just allow communities to do a bunch of work to keep your game alive and then capitalize on it while also throwing away the work that they did that made the game better while you had completely abandoned your stewardship of it.
Yeah.
And 3, our discussion question that's actually written in here is, I guess those weren't really discussions. That was like, you suck, Activision.
Discussion statements.
What does it mean that modern games are getting beat out by decades-old titles in this way? It means that modern games are not actually fun.
Dude, you should play BattleBit. Did you ever like Battlefield?
I never got into a Battlefield game.
Yeah, okay, so then maybe not. But BattleBit is actually like, I haven't had fun, actual genuine fun in Battlefield since probably Battlefield 4. And Battlefield 4 felt like a step back from Battlefield 3, but I really liked Battlefield 3. BattleBit is the first time that I've played a game in that format since then that I actually enjoyed. And it's good. It's fun. The graphics are trash. It feels like you're playing Roblox.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't matter. And I think I've talked about this on WAN Show before, and it drives people nuts. But now I have like really good proof. What really matters is the game freaking fun or not?
Yeah.
I don't care. I would the amount of my brain that gives an F that the graphics in BattleBit are trash is like near zero when I'm very much enjoying playing the game.
I think for a single player game, I'd feel a little bit differently about it. But for a competitive game, I'd rather a really well balanced game that's not full of cheaters.
Yeah.
And then novel gameplay mechanics is kind of here. And then you've got a positive community. I can live without that, if the game is really fun. And then down here somewhere is graphics, is visual fidelity, right?
And single player experiences, I would almost argue that graphics become more of a chance of being important, but I don't think they always are. I think there's plenty of single-player experiences that don't have that fantastic graphics, but because the game's great, I don't really care. But I do also think that if graphics are amazing in a single-player experience, that it can add a lot more to my enjoyment than it can in a multiplayer setting.
Slapshot Rebound has crap graphics, but it's just dumb fun.
Yeah. So who cares?
Just run
Doesn't
around
matter.
and whack
We
things.
actually got annoyed when the graphics got more in depth because there's one way that you can make so your head's invisible, and we were like, that's stupid.
Yeah, well, that's a cosmetics issue. I don't know if that's a visual fidelity issue.
Yeah. But someone said Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time. Yeah.
Though Minecraft also can look really good.
You can get really insane graphics packs for it, but by default, it doesn't.
Old school RuneScape gang represent.
People still play old school
RuneScape.
RuneScape. People play all these retro games. Graphics can make something that's already amazing, amazing plus. But it doesn't make something amazing. I don't know. I can't remember a single game that I was like, yeah, I loved that game because the graphics were so great. I don't think that's ever happened. I might love a game and be like, yeah, and I really like how great the graphics are, but I love the game because of certain gameplay features.
I wouldn't say graphics, but I could say I could love a game just based on a visual style.
Sure.
Even though I ended up not finishing it because there were gameplay issues, Fantasian is beautiful. And I just liked exploring the environments.
It's one thing that I really like about Assassin's Creed Odyssey is I think the setting of being in Greece and the graphical fidelity that they had at this point in time in their development process, being in Greece is just a very beautiful landscape to be in.
And like there have been times when I've just goofed around, playing a game like Far Cry.
I like the game.
Which at the time was groundbreaking in terms of what it looked like, and just looking at the water and the landscapes. And
I feel like we're kind of past that now, though.
Trying to think of something more recent then.
Because that was totally a thing at one point, but I feel like it's kind of past that.
It was definitely part of Breath of the Wild for me, even though the graphics are not amazing, but the art style was beautiful. I
feel like the importance of I've heard a lot of conversation about like, oh, making games these days is so hard because and then a huge amount of reasons, but a lot of them being graphics and how expensive it is to have extremely fantastic graphics. And it's like, well,
it's going to get cheap.
Don't. Yes.
It's going to get really cheap, and Valve's going to eventually come up with a policy that somehow allows them to allow AI-generated assets in games without exposing themselves to legal liability, and they're not going to care after that. And then, man, we are going to get some amazing visual fidelity in games with shockingly low budgets that combined with over the next, let's say I'm going to give a 5-year timeline for this. I think that's pretty generous. We're going to see not procedurally, but we're going to see artificially generated assets. We're going to see artificially generated textures. We're going to see like worlds and environments that are generated but then tweaked. And then we're going to see, I hope, if all goes according to what I think would be the ideal scenario for single A and double A developers to compete with the visual fidelity fests that have become AAA, multi-$100 million budget games these days. I hope we're going to see a refocusing on writing and storytelling. Who knows? Maybe the gaming industry would be a great place for all those WGA folks to go. Throwing it out there, just a kind of wild idea. If there was like a scrappy developer that was looking to do an incredible story-driven game, I'd love to see more focus on that. So that's the one part of this that I'm saying I would like to see. Everything else is more of just what I think is going to happen. And then that combined with what will become the ubiquity of ray tracing capable graphics hardware in that time. That's why I'm giving it a 5-year timeline, because I think a lot of what I'm talking about could be happening today.
It's gonna take a while.
But you're going to need, like, if you're going to try and build something with just like, random generated assets, you're not going to be able to implement a lot of the tricks that developers have had to use to create a really immersive environment, right? Whereas with ray traced lighting, well, all of a sudden, all you have to do is say, okay, I need lanterns, and I'm going to put them here, here, here. These are my light sources. I mean, looking at what they did with, was it Oblivion, I think it was, with RTX Remix?
Oh, man, there's so many things I want to address from chat right now.
So cool.
There's been a few. If I remember correctly, there's a Black Flag update and a Unity update, and I think it was also Oblivion. They're all getting like RTX Remix updates.
Well, I don't think Oblivion was actually getting one. It was just a demo that NVIDIA did.
Ah, okay. Morrowind? Really?
Was it Morrowind?
I don't think so.
No, it was Oblivion. Here we go. Or wait. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it's Morrowind here.
Really? Oh, but it didn't actually get it?
No.
Yeah, still looks
No,
pretty janky.
it's not on yet. So this is the capture tool, and then they go through and show the AI texture tools.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, but they didn't give it to us. Give it to me.
Yep. And then they do lighting, and then and then it starts to look really cool.
Let me have it.
Yeah, custom assets. This is pretty wild. This is worth watching. Let's see if here we go. RTX Remix.
Yeah, like that's wild.
That is freaking Morrowind, sort of.
Xbox original game, like really? Like OG Xbox original?
Yeah. So I'm imagining this future where you'll have, single A or even indie developers that are building games that have this kind of graphical fidelity because they just, for better or for worse, are able to generate assets based on the, library of work that came before them, whether legitimately built on or not. And if Valve doesn't find a way to make this work, another marketplace will come and will eat their lunch. I think this is disruptive enough that if there's a game that is compelling enough, people will go to some other storefront and they'll buy it. I mean, look at, Escape from Tarkov would be a great example of this before they totally screwed it up, right?
Yeah.
People went and they downloaded their launcher.
There's some...
Oh no, are there updates?
Sort of, but not really. There's they have a leaderboard out for like best KD, most profit per run, different things like that. And they launched it, and there's all these names on it and stuff, and you see some ratios and some stats there, and you're like, wow, that looks really fishy. Users brought up the last time they did a leaderboard, because they've done this before, and it's probably on the Escape from Tarkov subreddit, but I'd have to dig it up. But it showed all the people that had been banned off of the leaderboard, and out of the top 100, there was like 5 left. I want to see it. I want to see if I can find it.
That is ridiculous.
I suspect it's going to be too hard to dig up now.
I can do a quick topic while you look for that.
Yeah, well, one sec. I want to address some Flipling comments really quick. One person, Not Angry Scotsman, said Crysis was only really well known because of the graphics memes. Crysis was actually a very fun game, to be honest. I think it was a great game, and it also had just mind-bogglingly crazy graphics.
And Far Cry was really fun, too. Far Cry is a really good game. I actually replayed it not that long ago and really enjoyed it. And I didn't realize it until quite late in the game, but part of the reason I was enjoying it at my current skill level compared to when I was 17 or 18 or whatever when it came out, is that the AI is bound to your frame rate. So because I was playing it at such a higher frame rate, the enemies were really hard. I was like, yeah, this is like a hard game. Like, I remember this game being hard, but like, why is it still hard? I'm pretty sure I'm better at this than I was when I was a kid.
And then the other comment that made me want to jump was Avon Fox said 100 hours gameplay versus 2 hours movie watch. Games are way better value for the cost to make. And this is a very slippery slope argument, in my opinion, because I don't think we're there right now, but there was a point in time in gaming where games were essentially sold off of their
200-hour campaign,
off of their game time. And having 200 hours of garbage is significantly worse than having 2 hours of just raw quality. You should value your own time. That is important. One of my favorite shooters of all time, potentially my favorite shooter single-player experience of all time, is Titanfall 2. It's like 6 hours? 6 to 8 hours. But it's just quality. They make sure that if they introduce a new mechanic, before you're tired of it, it's gone. What is that?
That noise is the overflow pump for the air conditioner.
Okay, so everything's okay.
And you even see game developers tacitly acknowledging this, right? Like Square Enix, for example, they did remasters or like pixel remasters of some of their older games, and they include quality of life features like turning off random encounters. I remember as a kid feeling like some of those environments were enormous. The floating continent felt like continental sized. Not because there was a ton of room on a SNES cartridge, but because every time you took 3 steps, you were fighting some stupid random encounter that was capable of wiping you out because you were 10 and it was hard, right? So these games come back and it's like, yeah, you can just like do 9,999 damage anytime you want because we know this stuff is actually kind of boring and you can just explore the world. Like that would be a much... If I was to give that game to my kids, Final Fantasy VI is the one that I enjoyed the most personally. If I was to give that game to my kids, I would absolutely give them the Pixel Remaster. They don't need to fight that boss battle 9 times to have the fun that I did and to experience the story that I did.
So I'm going to share my screen really quick. I found it. So I don't know 100% what EXP rating means in this frame, but these are the top 100 Tarkov players for EXP rating. If their name is a dash, see how you can see this name right here?
Yikes.
If the name is a dash, they're banned. You can't see behind our frame here right now, but it's all dashes for that section of the leaderboard. We go here. There's 3 names. That's good. All of the rest of them are dashes. We go here. There's a few more. There's 5, 6 names. All the rest of them are dashes. 4. All the rest are dashes. It's just like, man. Now that was the old leaderboards. But if you take a gander at the new leaderboards, it feels like it might be going in the same direction. Because there's a few things on there that are like, this person's like, the ratios on some things are just very, very odd. And either the Escape from Tarkov client is like calculating things incorrectly, or things are not exactly above board. So,
Elemental Exposure, there is a Chrono Trigger sequel. It's called Chrono Cross. D-Boss, my Final Fantasy VI growing up was Mario RPG. Yeah, I saw oh my God, have you seen the remake? It
Mario
looks...
RPG? No.
Yeah, Legend of the Seven Stars remake. Nintendo's going to get my money again.
Got him.
It appears to be a super...
1 month ago.
It appears to be a super true to the original remake, which is fine because the game was already perfect. Wait for it. So that was the original SNES graphics. And so they've done a bunch of stuff here that may or may not be designed to mislead us. But essentially, from what they've shown, look, even the way that he moves around in the environment, how it's, I forget what this view is called, isometric or whatever.
Yeah, like you've got your...
Like the grid-based movement.
Yeah.
Is true to the original game.
This looks great. I would play this.
Yeah. Have you ever played Legend of the Seven Stars?
Technically, I own it, but I have not played it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. You should play it. And like, it's one of those games where, honestly, other than a couple of modern gaming comforts, I just don't really see what they would need to change about it. It's not very challenging. It's more just like, as an adult, you just play through it. As a kid, it was hard, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. So good.